Hi, I am Dr. Beverly Reed,
And I'm Dr. Amber Klimczak.
and we are Two
Two
Peaks
peaks
in
in
a
a pod.
Pod. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. K, I wanted to talk with you about a celebrity we've actually talked about before.
Okay, good. Have I
So
heard of this person?
you have, and you know
Okay.
what? You're probably like them again because I love the Kardashians.
Oh,
Okay, I know,
Kardashians. Okay.
I
At,
know.
le- at least they're famous enough that I can definitely say
I
I know
know
them.
they take a lot of heat, but I think it is always funny. We've talked about this before too. In our electronic medical record, if we're trying to just test out a new feature or something like that, you don't want to test that out on a real patient's record. So we will create fake patients in the system, and our fake patients are always Kardashians. And so it is always funny because when we have somebody new that we've hired and they're looking in our electronic medical record, they see all the Kardashians, they think we see all of them. Khloe, Kim, Kourtney, they say, wow. And then we have to break it to them. No, these are just pretend patients.
One day they will
One
be
day
our
they may reach
patient,
out.
and then it
You
will be
know,
very confusing.
that's right. But I feel like they're kind of aging out of reproductive age. So we might get their kids, maybe.
That's true.
But anyways, on the most recent season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Hulu, one of the kind of fights they get into is we've got Kourtney Kardashian. She's one of the older sisters for the Kardashians. She's kind of a little bit of a know-it-all. Okay.
Oh, she is? I didn't know this
Yeah.
about her. Okay. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
Kourtney. Okay, yeah, Kourtney. Yeah.
Kourtney.
She's
Yeah.
a little one. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
she's little, but she's
Yeah.
one of the older ones, right?
Okay, got it.
And that kind of drives her sisters crazy, right?
Ah.
Because she's always got advice to give, but
Mhm.
sometimes they didn't ask for advice, right? And I think we all know people like that,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, unfortunately, it might be me too.
I was about
I
to
don't
say,
know.
I'm kind of like that.
And so Courtney's talking to Chloe. Now,
Hmm.
Chloe's like the laid back, really cool one, okay?
Ah, okay.
And I guess Courtney says, kids really shouldn't have TVs in their room. And they really shouldn't have screen time before they go to bed. It can really affect their sleep. And Chloe's like, well, good for you. But Chloe feels judged by her saying this because she's like, why are you telling me this? Like,
Because she lets her kids watch
yeah,
TV.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I don't know if she does or doesn't,
yeah,
but it does. I think maybe,
yeah.
yes, that might be the case.
Targeting her specifically.
Yeah, but even Chloe was kind of like, okay, but your kids have a TV in your room. So, I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
Courtney didn't really comment on that. So I don't know. Um, but I have to say, Courtney is kind of right. Like, I understand Chloe's part of
Yeah.
like, hey, like, don't be so judgy. Like, do whatever you want. But like,
Mhm.
why are you saying these things kind of almost calling me out?
Right.
But I do have to say, maybe Courtney's just trying to give good advice because I do think that's probably true.
I
Kids
think
probably
it's
shouldn't
true.
have screens in their
Yeah.
room, and they probably do need to limit their screen time. And so I thought it kind of just opened up this whole topic that we can talk about, which is sleep,
Mm.
because I do think sleep is really important. And more importantly, it leads back to our main topic, fertility, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, I have a beef with
Oh.
AI because I did ask AI, because apparently they say you can ask AI different questions, right? So
Mhm.
I asked AI, what do you think of our podcast?
Oh,
Okay.
no.
And it actually said good things. It said, oh, the podcast has good ratings and you're not really Joe Rogan yet, but it does a really good job and it's surprisingly popular given the dry subject of fertility. And I was like, how could they say that? The dry subject of fertility?
No,
What?
fertility is a hot topic.
Rude, right?
Yeah.
I know. I'm so offended by AI. So we are here to make fertility exciting, guys.
So funny.
But it is so funny to me because you and I are just fast. I mean, that's all we talk about is
Yeah.
fertility, even off the podcast.
Yeah.
We're always so excited to share things with each other. So I guess it was just kind of a good reminder that not everybody is as interested in fertility as we are.
Yeah, you should probably stop listening now if you think fertility is a
That's
dry
right.
subject.
Yes. Unless you like to hear about sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have some interesting questions for you about sleep. Okay, so first of all, you know how I love to be productive and efficient and all the rest of it, right? Could you imagine if we didn't have to sleep?
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I mean, I
You
would
would get
have
everything done.
8 extra hours every single day to be able to get all those things on my to-do list done.
Yeah.
Could you even
I
imagine?
think there are some famous people in history that didn't really sleep much, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't, maybe we'd have to chat GPT
Yeah,
this,
that's
but
right.
I think
AI,
there were
yeah.
some, like, didn't Einstein sleep in odd
Oh.
intervals and stuff? I've
Oh,
heard some
I
of
don't
these people
know.
that
Okay, yeah.
did scientific research, they would sleep in very, like,
Yeah.
limited intervals.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it would be so nice if we didn't have to sleep, but we have to sleep. We know that
Mhm.
because here's the next question. What is more important, food or sleep? In other words, what could you live longer without?
Is this like a good quiz question for me?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can definitely go longer without food
Yeah.
because as long as you're having water.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. Which is
Mhm.
kind of crazy if you think
Yeah.
about it because we don't really give sleep enough credit.
Yeah. I mean, but you will sleep. It's actually like you will sleep.
Well, but in animals, they
Yeah.
tested out if
Yeah.
the animals don't sleep, they die.
Yeah. But
Isn't
you
that
eventually
crazy?
humans will sleep. I mean, that's right. How
Or
are
they
you
go
really?
crazy, I
Yeah, you'll go
guess.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's not really ethical to like
Yeah.
fully prove it out, but
Yeah.
yeah, they say, gosh, it is essential to
Yeah.
our existence. And I'm like, gosh, I really think I've underappreciated how important sleep is.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
definitely say that I've run this experiment recently, and you do go crazy without sleep.
Okay, well, this is what I wanted to ask you about because as I'm kind of becoming obsessed with sleep lately,
Mhm.
I wanted to know more about your sleep habits because I do think we should, tell the audience, gosh, you have a new baby at home, right?
Yeah.
And from what I hear, it's been a while for me. It can be hard to sleep when you have a new baby at home, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I definitely don't get great sleep right now.
Okay.
You have a disrupted sleep pattern when you have a new
Yeah.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just chronic sleep deprivation. You get a little bit more used to it,
Mm-hmm.
but certainly I don't sleep much.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when I do sleep, it's in very limited segments.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. But I remember even before you had your baby,
Hmm.
I would sometimes call you. You do go to bed really early, which I
Hmm.
think is good.
Yes.
But just because you're in bed doesn't mean you're sleeping right because I think you're in bed with a lot of people, right?
Yes, yes. I think some of our listeners could relate to nighttime visitors.
Yes.
I'm a bit of a sucker, and my children will come get in bed with us.
Okay.
And despite my husband trying to kick them back out, they just
Yes.
keep returning.
And as your family grows, I mean, I can just picture poor Steven. It's not like he's a tiny guy.
Oh,
Like,
no.
does he have any space in the bed?
No, and he's not allowed to use up any more than his half of the bed, even though he's like 3 times my size. And we have a giant golden retriever that sleeps in the bed with
The
us.
dog is in there
Yeah,
too.
we break all the rules.
Gosh.
Like we have a dog, we have 2 kids, we have a
Yeah.
baby, like all the things you're not supposed to do.
Yes. Okay. Well, I would like you to consider tracking your sleep, and maybe Steven should too, because I would just
Sad.
be interested to kind of see what happened. Because here's the thing, I actually started tracking my sleep, but you know what? I didn't think I had any sleep problems. My kids are all older. My husband and I had a sleep divorce. For you
Oh,
guys who don't know
no.
what that is, I'll explain it to you. So, my husband gets up super early. I don't even know how early, probably like 5 a.m. or something. And I'm the late person at work, so I don't have to get up that early. But when we share a bed, then of course, if he's up, that wakes me up. Also, because he gets up so early, he goes to bed earlier, right? So when we'd be in bed together, here I am like trying to watch TV or whatever, and he's like looking at me, and I'm like eating an apple, crunching away, and he's just like, "Oh my gosh, like you're so annoying."
The Kardashians are blaring.
Yes, exactly. I've got to watch my Kardashians, right? And so we had a sleep divorce. So he sleeps in the guest room, and then I get the whole bed to myself. No kids, no dogs, no husband. So I can literally be like,
Where do the cavies
yes.
sleep?
The cavies, they have like their own little sleeping place too. They're not allowed out and about because they get into trouble.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so I thought I slept great. I also was trying to be very thoughtful about when I'm getting into bed and everything. And I thought I was getting a solid 8 hours every night.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I bought one of those health rings. It's on my finger. I won't use brand names. There's lots of different brand names of these different health rings. And really, the purpose that I was getting it for is I just thought it'd be interesting to track my cycle and just because I'm a fertility doctor, I want to
Yeah.
see, do these things work?
Yeah.
Is it accurate? And I also want to track my activity, my steps every
Mhm.
day. I'm trying to lose weight and all
Mhm.
these things. But it does track your sleep for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's see, how much sleep did I get? And I was actually shocked because on average, I was getting about 6 hours and 20 minutes of sleep every
Mm.
night. And I was like, well, that's not adding up, right? And so it actually breaks it down for you, kind of how long it took you to fall asleep and all your different stages of sleep and how much you woke up and all the rest of it. And ultimately it would vary day by day, but I wasn't always getting enough deep sleep
Mm.
and or REM sleep. And I'm a restless sleeper. Said I'm
Mm.
very restless. I'm like moving around, getting up all the time. And I'm like, oh, interesting. And I thought it was helpful because I'm like, well, gosh, I wouldn't have even known that there's a problem. And now I do. And so I'm like, what can I do to try to improve
Yeah.
this and make this better? Now, I trained a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was in medical school over 20 years ago. And really, the sleep tips that I learned back then are really the same sleep tips that we have now. But I kind of sometimes I do this. I get a little arrogant and I think it doesn't apply to me.
I
Okay.
agree. Yeah, I'm like that too. We know what we're supposed to do, right? You
Yes.
just don't always apply it to
I've
yourself.
always known the right things to
Mhm.
do, but I kind of thought, well, I don't have trouble sleeping, so I don't need to follow those rules. I mean, the biggest mistake we make all the time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so my little app would tell me, oh, try doing these things, try doing these things. And the last 2 nights, I've gotten an A on sleeping.
Wow. What did you do differently?
Well, first I want to say back in the beginning, my sleep scores, I was getting C's. And
Oof.
when we're physicians, we are not used to getting C's. Like I was like, what? A C? And there was one day I even got a D.
Oh gosh.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like taking it personally, right? But the last 2 nights I've gotten A's and I've really been following all these different rules. And so we're going to talk about all the different tips. But before we get to that, to me, it was this sleep awakening about how important sleep would
Mm.
be and thinking about my patients because when I look at data for fertility, we know it's pretty clear sleep and fertility are related.
Mhm.
And I think you've done some homework for us, right? Can
Yeah.
you tell us
Yeah.
more about what that relationship looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people can appreciate that your sleep or poor sleep is going to impact your fertility, right? I
Yeah.
think everyone kind of thinks about it, but they don't really know how that happens or, what by what mechanism. So there's definitely some studies out there that have looked at this. And I would say the first thing that overall they just looked at with a lot of the study, there's kind of three different studies out there that looked at this particular thing is short sleep duration and the impact on fertility. So if you're sleeping less than or equal to 7 hours a night, that was considered short sleep.
Yeah. That
I
was me.
I mean that to me like 7 hours, that's like wow.
I
That's really
know you would
good.
try to get to 7 hours,
Yeah, that's
right?
really good. So I would say there's probably a lot of people out there that would meet that
Hmm.
criteria. And this did have a negative impact on fertility, actually for both males and females.
Hmm.
Okay, so we talked about a lot of female fertility on here, but for males as well. And then, when they looked more into this, at what were their hypotheses and what are some other studies that would find the link to why the shorter sleep duration can affect your fertility, it really links back to a lot of the ways your hormones are regulated. So, circadian rhythms, right? A circadian rhythm is just this natural cycle that your body's on all the time are actually ways to control your hormones, basically. So it's very related. And there are several hormones that are managed through circadian rhythms TSH, which is your thyroid hormone, LH, testosterone release. So a lot of these hormones that we know are very related to female and male fertility are regulated through your circadian rhythm. And so when you have disruptions in your circadian rhythm, it's going to fluctuate these hormone levels. So you can imagine LH, for example, everyone knows about LH because
Yeah.
that's the hormone that you test when you're trying to figure out if you're ovulating. What they found is you can have disruptions in ovulation. They would actually have women who would, they would force them to have sleep basically interrupted sleep during
Mhm.
their follicular phase, and they found that they would interrupt ovulation during those cycles.
Mm.
If you don't ovulate, you're going to lead to irregular cycles. That's kind of a sign of that. So not ovulating obviously is going to affect your fertility as well. They also found a lot of impact on your thyroid hormone and TSH, and your TSH level will go up if you get disrupted sleep or short sleep duration. And we know that your thyroid is really important in helping you to have regular cycles, and even can impact miscarriage later down the road during pregnancy. So there's a lot of hypotheses out there how this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that was interesting is I saw a study that talked about growth hormone.
Mm,
And, a lot of times when we have women who are either older or maybe they have tried IVF treatment before and it hasn't worked, one of the adjuncts sometimes we consider adding on to an IVF cycle is growth hormone, because we know our growth hormone levels can go down with age. But we know growth hormone is really important to stimulate the granulosa cells, the cells that nourish the eggs, and to really help them grow. And what I found was really interesting is it's during the deeper stages of our sleep. That is when we are making the most growth hormone every 24-hour period. And I thought, oh my gosh, how many of my patients may be missing out on a great opportunity for free growth hormone, right? Our
mhm.
own body can make it, because growth hormone is expensive and not
Yeah.
covered by insurance, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, gosh, that's just another angle to really maybe even measure yourself and look to say, am I getting enough deep sleep? And if not, can I make improvement on it, which could ultimately potentially help egg quality and maybe egg number as well.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I do think it's hard because a lot of our patients are in a circumstance similar to us. Now, fertility schedules are a bit easier than OBGYN schedules,
Mhm.
but you and I long ago used to be in residency
Mhm.
delivering babies and everything, and babies like to come in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and all the rest of it. I think it's a challenging position, right? Because if you're in a position where your sleep schedule is changing frequently, and you don't have control of it, that can create stress, right? And that's not the point of us to be talking about it, right? We're
Mhm.
not trying to stress you out, but rather we're saying, what are the things you do have control of, and how can you modify those things to make it better for you? Now, if you have the option to control your schedule, I think that would be great, but we do recognize that's just not a luxury that a lot of us have.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Hmm.
was telling Dr. Reed earlier that I had a patient today and he works the night shift.
Yeah.
And I said, how long have you been doing that? About a year. Is there any chance you can switch off of it? No, there's not. So I
Yeah.
think it's really hard. And the night shift workers, especially if you're out there listening, that is a really big impact on your health. And
Yeah.
so we try and just mitigate that as much as we can when we give you our recommendations.
Yeah, and maybe it's just a good time to say thank you to all the night
Yeah.
shift workers too, right? Without you guys, we wouldn't have people to staff the hospitals and staff, police departments and fire departments and all these things. So we do need night workers, but maybe they deserve more gratitude for really kind of what they're contributing in terms of sleep deficits they may be having. So okay, so let's kind of talk about some of the sleep tips then
Mm.
that, again, I probably learned long ago, but just was not really doing myself. And I will say, maybe some things I was pretty good at is being consistent.
Mm.
So, because as a fertility doctor, we have a pretty even schedule, I would say I was consistent. I was getting into my bed at the same time every night. Do you feel
Mhm.
like you're pretty consistent?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I try and get in bed at the same time, but I
Yeah.
might be getting in and out of bed after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I think this is actually really important because even if you're a shift worker at
Hmm.
nighttime, right, you can still be consistent,
Hmm.
right? And so one of the key details about consistency is also weekends, right, or
Hmm.
your off
Yeah.
days. Same thing. A lot of us, maybe we wake up early to go to work Monday through Friday, but then
Hmm.
on the weekends, we like to sleep in, go to bed later. That's
Hmm.
actually one of the worst
Yeah.
sleep hygiene, right,
Guilty.
aspects that you can do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's 2 days out of the week. That's a pretty
Yeah.
significant portion. So, sleep experts always tell you that you should have the same awakening time and the
Mhm.
same time going to bed every single day, no matter if it's Saturday or Sunday.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. And then the next one is it's nice to have a routine, because it's kind of signaling to your body sleep is coming. And I feel like I'm pretty good about that too. I tend to do the same thing as I'm sort of getting ready for bed. Same. And what about you? Are you good with routine?
I'm a huge
Yeah.
creature of habit.
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Mhm.
cannot sleep without my retainers.
Yes, retainer. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you know me with I gotta floss, gotta brush my teeth, gotta put my wrinkle cream on.
Yeah.
Like I've got my routine down. Okay. Okay. What about temperature? This is actually a source of contention between Craig and I. He loves it cold. I like it hot. Do you and Steven agree on temperature?
I actually do like it cold when I sleep,
Okay.
and it's supposed to be cold, right? The
You're
best
right.
sleep
Yes.
apparently is pretty cold. I've seen some of the
Yes.
studies, and we don't keep it that cold.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
some of the studies show that it's 66 degrees Fahrenheit, like pretty
Yeah.
low temperatures.
Yeah. I like way higher. And it actually used to be worse when I was younger. Like when I was thinner, I think I just had less fat. And I mean, I used to like to keep the AC on like 82. Like
Oh
I
my
was
gosh,
crazy.
at night?
Yes.
Oh,
Like
gosh.
I would get so cold all the time. But now as I have more of a cushion layer to keep me
Gosh.
warm, it's better. But even so, like I would say maybe, 74 would be my ideal. I don't know, somewhere around there. But my husband cannot wait for me to go into menopause because when you go through
Yeah.
menopause, you get those hot
Crank that
flashes
AC.
and you want the AC blasting. So he's going to be very excited for
Have you
that.
seen some of the studies about wearing socks at night?
I just saw that the other day, but
Yeah.
what's the deal with that? Why do socks
No,
help?
I don't
Okay.
know where these are coming
Okay.
from, so I haven't
Yeah.
checked the
Yeah. Yeah.
the sources for these studies, but
Yeah.
apparently you do like fall asleep and stay asleep longer when you're wearing socks
Mhm.
to stay to regulate your body temperature. I don't
Well,
know.
I do. I sleep in socks. Do you?
I hate them.
You don't?
I
Oh.
will go to bed with socks, but I take
Yeah.
them off. Like, I would
Okay.
probably get a
In the
bad
middle of
sleep
the night,
score. Yeah,
sock
I
goes
take
flying.
them off. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, my feet always get cold at night, so I do love my socks. And then darkness, and this is so helpful right now because we just hit our daylight savings, right? So
Mhm.
it's been very dark, and that is really helpful. Now, this is interesting because I have a patient who is a veterinarian. And she was telling me for horses, the circadian rhythm, of course, is so important for fertility, lightness versus darkness. And so they would have certain times where they'd put these goggles on the horses to show them extreme light when they're trying to target a certain stage of fertility and all the rest of it. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, for sleep, don't you sleep so much better when it's dark?
Oh yes,
Oh.
yeah, and it's so much easier to get the kids to go to bed.
Yeah, get the blackout
Yeah.
curtains and turn everything off. Yeah, no, I think everybody can agree on that. But again, it's harder if you're a shift worker. I've definitely had those times where I was working nights back when I was delivering babies. And when you've got the sun shining right down on you, it is a lot harder to
Very
sleep.
hard. Yeah.
Okay, then quiet. It needs to be quiet, right? Now, this must be really
Not for
hard for
me.
you, right? Oh, can you sleep
Yeah.
even if it's noisy?
I don't like too quiet. We sleep with a sound machine
Interesting.
all over our house.
Oh.
Every room in our house has a sound machine.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I'm a nut about sound machines.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Okay, I've really gotten into sound machines too because here's what was happening to me before. I would go to sleep. And then in the morning, everybody else is waking up, but I want to keep sleeping, right? And the dogs wake me up, right? They hear everybody moving around. So then they start barking, hey guys, come let us out. Like we're excited. And then the kids are fighting. It's your turn to take the dogs out. It's your turn. And like all the rest of it. And then they wake me up and I'm like, great. Like I'm up for no reason. And so I didn't realize this, but your phone is a sound machine. So I have it memorized now. If you go to settings, accessibility, audio, video, background noise, you turn it on and you can pick from all your different background noises. So what's your favorite background noise to fall asleep to?
I have some sad news for you in a second.
No, tell me.
Because I'm a sleep machine expert.
Oh,
Okay. But
oh no, tell it to me straight. Tell it to me straight.
You're
doctor.
talking about the brown noise, pink noise, all that.
Well, they have like bright and dark and
okay.
mixed and ocean
Okay.
and rain
Yeah.
and fire and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So first of all, that will mess up your iPhone speaker.
Oh.
Yes. So if you use the sound machine on your iPhone, be prepared that your speaker may get damaged.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
it's on for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've definitely
You've been through a couple
up some phones because we used to do it when we travel. Like we would do that. And so then if you're like doing it for like maybe on a week long, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
can you imagine all these people leaving me reviews?
Yeah.
Dr. Reed messed up my iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Listen to Dr. K here. She's
So
Okay.
don't jack up your iPhone
Okay.
with a sound machine.
Okay.
And there are studies that show that it
Mhm.
needs to be 8 feet away from you. I sleep with my phone right next
Oh.
to my bed because I
Yeah.
use it for an alarm clock.
Yeah.
And so there's actually some studies that show it can affect your hearing over time.
My
And
goodness.
I'm really picky about my hearing because I do have family members with hearing
Yeah.
loss. So I try and
Yes.
preserve that, especially for your kids too.
Right.
If you have babies or kids, make sure you put the sound machine with the white noise at least 8 feet away.
Okay, great.
The good thing is about the tried and true sound machines,
Yeah.
especially those ones for kids, they have settings to protect them so they don't get
Mm.
too high on the decibel levels.
Mhm.
So they're more, kind of consistent with it. So
Yeah.
I would be careful about those two things.
These are great tips.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we talked about this. You
Yeah.
saved my ears.
Yeah.
You saved my iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but you didn't tell me what your favorite noise is.
Okay, but I use the original sound machine. Okay,
Well,
there's
what's
two
the
settings.
okay.
Do you know you've never seen the little dome?
Well,
It's called the dome original
oh
sound
no.
machine.
Mm-mm.
It looks really old school. It's like a little tan dome.
Okay.
And so you put it on the floor and there's
Yeah.
only two settings, high and low, and I use the low setting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So it's probably
straight
like
up
a white noise. Okay.
Totally white noise.
Okay.
I don't like rain. I don't like crickets. I
Yeah.
don't like the ocean.
Yeah.
No, I need to see
Yeah,
white noise.
yeah. I thought it would like rain, and I was like hearing this hissing sound,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Is it a snake?"
Yeah.
I don't know. It was giving me anxiety as I fell asleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but the other thing that I saw that people do sometimes is earplugs. Have you ever done
Mhm.
earplugs?
I used to when I was really crazy in med school.
Okay, but
Yeah.
how does that work? Because I was afraid if I put earplugs in, I wouldn't hear my alarm.
Well, I think if you're at the level that you're putting earplugs in,
Yeah.
you're so anxious that you hear your alarm.
Okay.
That's my experience with my sleep anxiety.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
would put your headphones in, set your
Yeah.
alarm, and it would always wake you up. You could
Yeah.
hear the alarm still.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
And then I have heard some people are doing headphones, but I don't think that would work if you're supposed to be eight feet away.
I wouldn't
Headphones
do that.
probably aren't
Again, I'm
good.
not like an ENT,
Yeah.
but I think that would probably be dangerous for your
Yeah.
hearing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. All right. So the next one is probably one of the hardest ones for me. And this is what Courtney told us.
Mhm.
Courtney Kardashian,
Mhm.
no screens before you go to bed.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard.
So some people suggest 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed, no screens. And that's hard because I will say at nighttime, sometimes I do feel like a little anxious. And when I have something in the background to keep my mind off of
Mhm.
all my crazy anxious thoughts, then it helps. It like
Totally.
distracts me, right?
Yeah.
And so I love to fall asleep to the TV, which we've talked about Friends. Like I'll put an
Yes.
old Friends episode
Yes.
on, something I've seen before that I know I don't need to watch the whole thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interestingly, I would never watch like a new episode of Kardashians or something because it's like I need to pay attention.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But-
Even like a good movie, it'll
Yeah.
keep me up. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
And also I love to be on my phone, but sometimes at the same time, watch an old
Mhm.
episode of Friends, be on my phone scrolling.
Two screens.
Yes, that's right. And then just pass out, right? And
Yeah.
think I'm getting the happiest sleep ever.
Mhm.
That's not good.
So what
Mm-mm.
grade did you get when you would do this? Like
So bad. It was
C
very
grades?
low, and I didn't know because I was sleeping all night, but I wasn't hitting the deep sleep levels.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, what I did is, 2 hours of screens. That seems extreme. So I was like, let me start off with 1 hour of no screens. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that seems to be enough to
Mhm.
have fixed the problem. Now I've been doing multiple things, the white noise,
Uh-huh.
the no screens and everything, but now I'm getting A's. And so I think it just shocked me to see you could actually see a difference when you do it versus when you
It's
don't do it.
crazy. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
crazy.
And they say for people who aren't willing to give up their screens, you can do blue light blockers. These are
Ah.
special glasses you can wear. They say it's better just not to have the screen, but if you just
Yeah.
can't do it, then you can do blue light blockers instead.
I feel like I would fall asleep with them on.
So instead of screens, I've been having to go old school and read like a real book,
Yeah.
which is like, I do like to read, but I'm usually reading on my phone, right?
Yeah.
So we had to go to Barnes and Nobles, and it was really cute. My 11-year-old said this is his happy place, is Barnes and Noble.
I do love Barnes
You
and
do?
Noble. I
Okay,
feel
yeah.
the same.
Yeah. And so I picked out some books, and funny enough, my first book I'm reading is about sleep, right? The history of sleep.
That sounds boring enough to put you to sleep.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get into like a murder suspense novel
Yeah,
and then you
no.
can't go to bed,
Yeah.
right? So it's been kind of perfect. And so it's good. Like I just read and then I doze off, and yeah.
I have been meaning to look this up, but like, how do the Kindles compare? Because I switched to a
yes.
Kindle. Steven
Okay.
said I read a lot of smut, which this is embarrassing to admit on our podcast, but Steven said I couldn't order any more books because you go through them really fast.
He had to cut you off.
Well, there's just stacks of them because I mean, you read them in like 3 days. And
wow.
So it's like really quick. Same thing, I like fall asleep to. So he switched me to a Kindle, but the Kindle does have a little bit of backlight to it.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen the difference. It's much dimmer and all the rest of it when you compare. So I don't know. That's a good question. We should look into that because honestly, it is kind of hard to like hold this big book. I'm like, I'm not trying to be lazy, but I'm just like, it was a lot easier on a screen. So I would love to do a Kindle. But I think what's nice if you do one of these rings, I'm not trying to sell these or anything, people. I get no money for this, but you can test things out, right?
Yeah, to see.
So you could always be like, oh, well, if I do a Kindle, how was my sleep? And then if it wasn't good, then, you know, obviously switch to something else. But
you know, the other thing that I think is helpful when you mention like listening to some or watching a show that you've seen a million times, I also will put my face mask on and just listen to a Friends episode. I've seen them so many times that it's like
you can imagine it.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's like that relaxing. So
I like that. That's a good idea too. I feel like if you get one of these rings, I need you to do some experiments for me and kind of test that out.
I sleep with an eye mask.
Yeah. So, because I was like, can you do an audiobook or something? That, you know, that might be a little easier too. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm guilty of the next one, which is diet. Okay. And there are several things to talk about with diet. And I had actually always shared with you before, I do have to give myself what they call a caffeine curfew. So I'm allowed to have caffeine, but they really say I'm allowed, but I'm not allowed after about 2 p.m. Yeah. If I have caffeine past 2 p.m., I will be up all night. How are you with caffeine? Are you sensitive to it?
Yeah, I'm extremely sensitive to caffeine. I actually a lot of times will just do like a morning and noon caffeine, and then that's it.
That's it. So you have a curfew for yourself too. Okay, and I feel like that's a pretty obvious one, but it is kind of odd because I remember I have a family member, I won't say who it is, but he bragged to me. He said, well, I can drink 3 cups of coffee and go right to bed. And I was like, really? I'm like, that just seems bananas. But then like, he didn't really mention, well, he takes a bunch of sleeping pills every night. So it's kind of like, well,
I do know people like that. I know. I mean, my husband can drink like a cappuccino and go to sleep.
Really?
So, yeah. I don't know how people do that. I kind of think again, this is kind of like an aging thing. I feel like as I've gotten older, I'm more sensitive to caffeine and sleep.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Young people can just like pass out.
Yeah. Okay. Another one to talk about is alcohol. And if you guys follow us, you know, I don't drink any alcohol anymore because I feel, based on data, it is very bad for you. It causes so many different types of cancer, but it's also disruptive to your sleep. And I feel like it's kind of tricky to figure that out because when I used to drink alcohol, it makes me sound like I was an alcoholic. I wasn't, but when I used to drink alcohol, I loved like a nice glass of wine and you feel so relaxed. You just kind of fall asleep. Like it makes you feel like it's good for your sleep, right?
Yeah.
But it's not, right?
No. I have the opposite problem. Again, this is something that has happened to me as I've gotten older. It's really depressing. I think because I love to drink.
Yes.
I still enjoy the occasional glass of wine with my girlfriends. Like that to me is a stress reliever. That to me is how I socialize with people. Like we like to go out to dinner and have drinks. But I know that if I have a glass of wine, especially like a late night glass of wine, then I will be up heart pounding in the middle of the night. Like just, I don't know what it is. I never used to have that when I was younger. Wine is so bad. Red wine especially. I would say maybe other type of alcohol is not as bad. But
and what's interesting is when you look at the sleep studies on alcohol, alcohol can help you fall asleep, but you actually get worse quality sleep than if you had not had alcohol. And a lot of people who drink and they don't realize this, they get night awakenings. They're like, I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep. And they don't know why. They don't make that connection. But because of that, if you ask me, I would say no alcohol. If you ask Dr. K, maybe limit alcohol or
I would
earlier
say
in the day.
Day drinking.
I would recommend day drinking.
We've really adjusted our drinking schedule.
Okay, so then Besides those 2 things, caffeine and alcohol, here's another one that I'm guilty of, spicy food. Oh, I love spicy
Oh, I
food,
never
okay?
think about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I tend to eat later at night because I get off work later and
Mhm.
all these things, but apparently if you eat spicy food close to bedtime, then
Mm.
you're gonna get lower sleep
Yeah.
quality,
Yeah.
and so I love, like, Indian food, Mexican food, like, all these things, and I'm like,
Oof.
"Okay, if I'm gonna eat those things, I need to do it earlier in the day."
Indian food right before bed sounds like a
I
bad idea.
know. Like, see, shouldn't I already know these things, right? Exactly. And then this part kind of makes me feel like a toddler. Okay, at night, I love ice water.
Mm.
I just drink all night long. This is one of the sweet things that my husband does for me is every night before bed, he brings me my fresh Stanley filled with ice and water and
That
says, "Good
is
night, sweet."
really
I
sweet.
know it's so sweet. Because he knows if I don't, I'll text him like waiting for my I know, but he's so nice. And
Especially since you sleep divorced
I
him.
know
He
that's
brings
so
you things in
rude,
your
right?
room.
Well, he likes to visit for other reasons too. But anyways, I also take my vitamins right before I go to bed. Like I have all my
Mm.
vitamins on my
Mm.
nightstand and everything. So I take my vitamins and I drink a ton of water because I'm like, I'm being so healthy, right?
Mm.
Well, no, then I have to pee all night
Yeah.
long. And this has always been normal for me. I probably get up like 4 times a night to
Yeah.
pee, but
I
like
have that.
that's just normal for me.
Mhm.
But then, of course, you read like, hey, why don't you just fluid restrict yourself like
Mm.
a toddler?
Yeah.
Right. And so now 2 hours before I go to bed, I fluid restrict myself, which is kind of hard for me to do, but it's really helped a lot
I believe
because
it.
I'm not getting
Yeah.
up all the time.
Yes, and
Hmm.
I agree. And that
Hmm.
actually that's I think another form of anxiety,
Hmm.
especially for me is I
Yeah.
feel like I have to go to the restroom
Yeah.
in the middle of the night and like I'll
Yes.
be like, thinking about something and I get up
Yeah.
and go a bunch, if you're
Yes.
worried about
Yes.
something. So
Yeah.
I think it does help to not drink fluids.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Then another one that we all know we should be doing exercise.
Mhm.
Exercise helps your sleep.
Yeah.
But I guess similar to all these things, you've got to do it earlier in the day. You don't want to
Mm.
exercise within 3 hours of falling asleep because then you're going to be so revved up that it's going to be hard for you to sleep.
Mm.
So exercise, but earlier in the day, and that'll help you get better quality sleep.
That's hard for some people to do
I
too, depending on
know.
when you go to
Me too.
bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I exercised once this week. I
Yeah.
did a boot camp on Sunday.
Good. Yeah.
So I'm like, you got to start somewhere,
Yeah.
right? Do
Yeah.
it when you can. Yes. Okay. And then what about stress? I mean, you kind of brought this. I mean, stress really affects our sleep, right? But that one's so hard because it's not like I can just be like, hey, can you stop being stressed? You
Yeah.
know?
I mean, this is something that I've explored, I think, a lot as I have gotten more established, in my career. And I'm like, okay, I
Hmm.
guess my life isn't going to really change much now. I
Yes.
have to figure out how to manage my stress. It's not
Yeah.
going to get much better. So I use a lot of the apps, like the meditation apps, and I'll do that before I go to
Mm.
bed. I think that's
Okay.
one way to kind of set your stress aside.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I've realized I'm probably not going to be able to de-stress, right? Like
Yeah.
my stress is going to be with me,
Yeah.
but I try and set it aside before I go to bed. So I do
Yeah.
think those meditation apps are really helpful.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
great at meditating on my own. I don't know how people do that. I'm really impressed when they can do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at least like listening to something, there's a ton of apps. You can get stuff like on YouTube to help you
Yeah.
just like listen and relax. And I think that can
Yeah.
be something. Doing stretching or yoga before bed, I think can
Yeah.
really help as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I do really think about when I have stress, and I am one of those people that I'm just always stressed. Even if I'm not stressed, I'll probably then get bored and be
You
like,
find
let me do
something.
some more
Yeah.
things, which will
Yeah.
then stress me out, right?
Yeah.
But I do think you can try to put a lot of logical thought work into your stress to ask yourself, hey, why am I having this stress? Is this something I can change? How can I change it? Right? There are things you can try to think about instead of just like spiraling.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. The spiral's easy though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is very easy. Yes. And then naps. Okay. I don't think we really get a chance to take naps. So I feel like we
Mm-mm.
can't really comment as much on naps, but right. I
And I
mean,
hate
do
napping.
you?
I
Okay.
feel
Okay.
so disgusting when you wake up from a nap. Do you not?
You're sounding like Kourtney Kardashian. A
Is that
little
what she
judgy.
says?
No.
No, I personally feel wrecked
Okay.
if there's like by chance some weekend where like
Yeah.
I fall asleep on the couch and I
Yeah.
wake up, I just feel wrecked.
Yeah, because it feels like it's not
Yeah.
enough, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, let's say there's like a piece of chocolate cake and you only get to take a bite and you just
Mm.
stare at the rest. Like, you're
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
was that about?
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of what a nap is like to me. Like, I want to go all in and,
Yeah.
and get the full thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I feel like we covered a lot. Hopefully,
Mm.
that is helpful for all you guys. We hope that you get a really good night of sleep tonight now that you
Yeah.
have all these tips. And maybe you can start tracking your own sleep and see kind of where you're at baseline and if you were able to make any improvement and how you felt afterwards. I'm really going to be looking at all these things. A good thing, maybe notice if your patients are wearing a ring. You can ask them about their sleep
Yeah.
too. They'll have that data for you. But if you would be so kind to where if you enjoyed our podcast or enjoyed seeing us on YouTube, if you could leave us a positive review, we would greatly appreciate it. Another place to leave us a review if you're one of our patients is our Peak Fertility website. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Bye.